to Monkey Island News, Return to Monkey Island News. I'm Matt Bradley-Tschirgi. I've been doing this news beat on Return to Monkey Island, and I'm just sort of going over latest news articles or interesting ones as they come up. This is another one from VentureBeat. Last week they did a article interviewing the designers Ron Gilbert and Dave Grossman. This time around they're talking to the art director Rex. I don't know if it's pronounced Crowley or Kroll. I'll just say Crowell. Kroll, or they probably mispronounced it 3 times there. And we're going to look at this article. I'll read it out loud and I'll make a commentary on it as we go on. And this one I think will interest a lot of people because, as we can see here, I have it slightly cropped just so it focuses more on the text. But this art style of Return to Monkey Island, although we've just seen still screenshots, is really, aside from some limited animation in that one trailer, has gotten a lot of criticism. I think unfairly. It looks different, but then so do all the other Monkey Island games, as I've mentioned before. So let's get started. This article is by Mike Minotti. Rex Kroll solidified his striking art style with games like Tearaway and Knights and Bikes. Now he's serving as art director for Return to Monkey Island, the revival of classic pirate-themed adventure game series. I have not played Tearaway or Knights and Bikes. I kind of looked at some images, and it is more of this kind of illustration storybook art style, but I should check out those games. Knights and Bikes in particular, I've heard good things about. I had a chance to talk with Kroll about his love for the Monkey Island franchise and his work on the new entry. Okay, so here we go. What is your history with the Monkey Island series as a fan? Kroll. It's the game that made me want to make video games. I never expected to actually achieve that dream, let alone actually work on a Monkey Island game. As a kid, most games seemed to be about one rectangle shooting smaller rectangles at another rectangle. And yeah, I mean, that's true. My first system was an Atari 2600. I did, it was a younger kid in the 80s. And I do remember arcades having games like what he's talking about, like, like Asteroids or Berserk or things like that with the real primitive pixel graphics back then. Monkey Island was the opposite of that. I cared about the characters, laughed at the jokes, pressed my nose against the screen to study the art, and actually felt super sad for weeks after finishing the game. Yeah, I haven't thought about that in a while, but as a kid, I felt often sad after finishing one of these, like Monkey Island or the Space Quest or some of those other adventure games, because it's like you get sucked into the story, you invest all these hours trying to beat the puzzles. Even if you use a walkthrough, these things can take a while. And at the end, it's like when you finish a good book, like you miss the characters, you miss that world, you want to go back. And Kroll continues, a state I remained in until I opened up Deluxe Paint 3 on my Amiga and started creating my own little adventure game graphics. It's all the fault of that game. So from that we learned the Secret of Monkey Island really means a lot to the art director of this, which is great. And they sort of continue on that with inspirations, including an inspiration that's not a Monkey Island game. Although it is a LucasArts game, but we'll get into that. So here we can see this is a street of Melee Island. I featured this in my previous video about going through screenshots, comparing the old and the new game stuff. GameSpeed. Are you pulling inspiration from any specific past Monkey Island game? Crowley. I'll just mispronounce his last name every time. I'm sorry. I got to look and see how to do it. Kroll, I'll just say. There's the color palettes of Secret of Monkey Island, the more painterly approach of Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge, as well as some of the it must be sharper, it's a typo, more stylized shapes of Curse of Monkey Island. We're a very small indie team, so we didn't go down the 3D route, but aside from that, we've taken something from all the games while making something new and specifically tailored to the story that Ron Gilbert and Dave Grossman wanted to tell. An art style has to connect with the core themes of the game you're making. It's not an interchangeable thing you apply like a Photoshop filter. And for this adventure, a picture book style was the right fit. Yeah, so some food for thought there. The color palettes of Secret of Monkey Island. So Secret of Monkey Island, when you went to the villages and stuff, it was, like darker, almost like it felt like it was around like midnight or pretty late at night, pretty dark, where it's just like the lanterns and candles in the rooms and stuff illuminating, and the chandeliers and stuff illuminating passageways. And we can see that here with the blues and the purples and some of the lights coming out. Painterly approach of Monkey Island 2, LeChuck's Revenge. What it makes me think of is the backgrounds had more going on. You had even more skewed angles and things. happening. And as far as the sharper, more stylized shapes, of course, in Monkey Island, that one looked more cartoony. Um, I would argue, yeah, it's just very, very stylized and at the same time quite unique. Picture book style is what you hear Rex uh, Kroll talk about. And Ron Gilbert also described it as picture book style, so I guess that's the verbiage they're using when promoting the game and presumably speaking internally about it. I don't know why. I don't know why you would call this picture book exactly. You have lighting, you have depth, you have dimension, you have shadows. I love this red pulsating here from the edge of this boat. I presume this might be LeChuck's boat if there's skeletons, although there's no ghost skeletons, although there's no guarantee of that. So, what are you going to do? Like, it's people, I think, are just mad about it because it's not, it doesn't look just like the first two games, and they didn't want it to. And aside from the first two games, the games didn't really look that much like each other. Even the second one had much better detail on the pixels and more sophisticated music technology with iMuse, where it's fading in and out of the stuff. So, are you taking inspiration from outside the series? This is what they're talking about when I mentioned another LucasArts game, Crawl. There's wider inspiration from some of the other LucasArts classics like Day of the Tentacle. When making a game like this, it can be a challenge to figure out how to cram everything that's required onto each environment, as they are often on a single screen. But Day of the Tentacle has some fantastic design solutions for that, and they create a lot of variety and a sense of rhythm and flow as you move from one screen to another. Mostly we're just inspiring each other on the team. We're a tight-knit little unit, and we're constantly adding to each other's paintings. So each time someone adds something to the game, it creates a little ripple of inspiration. Oh, and having a playlist of Tom Waits and sea shanties playing in the background helps as well. So, yeah, it's interesting where in these adventure games, you go from screen to screen. Usually each screen has a puzzle to solve. If not a puzzle, it has an item or something or a clue that points you to a solution to a puzzle that, if not in the same room, it's elsewhere, right? Here we see a character. I presume it's a new character, although it could be related to someone from Monkey Island game. It has all these keys. Looks like a key master of some kind. Reminds me of that character in the Matrix Reloaded, the second Matrix film. What I'm thinking is if we scroll up here and we can see Melee Island, you see this has the little key graphic right here. I bet you this guy lives in this room. And that's my theory. There's also a bird up here. So a parrot, come to think of it, right? Parrots and pirate games, they go together like chocolate and peanut butter, as the cliche goes. So he mentions Day of the Tentacle has good design solutions for fitting a lot of stuff on one screen. And I brought up, I have a picture here we're going to look at of Day of the Tentacle. And I will zoom out. So this is a little bit cropped, but you get the idea. So what you see here is the foreground, a really bright image. You see this pipe. Whoop. It's not a pipe, it's this hamster wheel. You see the hamster is reading the newspaper right here. You see the main character, Bernard, is standing. You get some skewed doorways. You get light coming in. You get shadows in the background. You have all this business that's a kind of visual storytelling, even if you don't look at the background. There's a TV. There's a lot of books. There's a heart thing. There's a trophy. This guy, he has his, looks like a stamp collection. I haven't played Day of the Tentacle in a while. Is this like Cousin Ed or Cousin Fred? Something like that. Who doesn't play a big part in this game, but he had a bigger part in Maniac Mansion, where you could famously take his hamster and throw it in the microwave as a kind of Easter egg, and then he goes crazy and I think tries to kill you. Anyhow, yeah, don't try that at home. That's I've heard of a lot of anecdotes of people that tried that with their pet hamster to disastrous results. But anyway, yeah. So here with all this, you have these stylized look for the characters, and that's a lot of information crammed into one room. So I think they're talking about that depth of field, foreground, background, middle ground, so to speak, and the intense lighting, and also the contrast here. You get like blues, purples, and then orange, right, really pops. If everything was like yellow here, you wouldn't notice this orange in the foreground as much. So when he talks about Day of the Tentacle being an influence, and you can see some of that here. You get the light coming in through the window. You get the shadows from the door. This foreground stuff is really nice with those keys. Kind of gets a bit of depth here, a different field here, and it's like, hey, this guy likes keys. He has keys everywhere. This looks like a key making mechanism. This might be his family, might be friends, don't really know. This looks like to be a furnace and looks like the thing that blows air into the furnace. I forget what that's called. So let's keep going. This is a short interview like the last one Venture Beat had with Ron Gilbert and Dave Grossman. And if you want to see that, we got links so you can get a playlist for all these Monkey Island videos. So the final question is a real tricky one. What is it like to reinterpret classic settings from past Monkey Island games? Kroll, terrifying. The Monkey Island games mean so many things to so many different people. It's daunting having that range of hopes and desires pressing down on you. Some fans picture the earlier pixel art. Some remember painterly clouds. Some may have happy memories of giant mechanical monkey battles. I have to comment on that. So earlier pixel art, that's referring to Monkey Island 1 and 2. Painterly clouds is Monkey Island 3. Happy memories of mechanical monkey battles is, I assume, a bit tongue-in-cheek to an infamous monkey combat sequence in the fourth game, probably the most reviled of the series by most fans, where it's monkey combat instead of Mortal Kombat, and it didn't really work in my opinion. But it could be every game could be someone's favorite, though. We have to keep that in mind. But with Ron and Dave leading the project, it couldn't be a more genuine Monkey Island game. And we're all enjoying doing what we can to make sure their vision becomes real, because everyone on the team has wanted to play that game for a really long time. That punctuation isn't right here either. You should do a comma with because, or it really should just be one sentence. You could do a semicolon, break that up somehow. You shouldn't really start a sentence with because. You could do an apostrophe and cause, but that's my copy editing background jumping in here. Again, yeah, so good little article by Mike Minotti. I'm glad it's interviews with people other than Ron Gilbert and Dave Grossman. Well, Gilbert and Grossman are great. To hear from the art director is really neat and hear the inspirations. And I like that he mentioned Day of the Tentacle, as I mentioned before. Do you have any thoughts on Return to Monkey Island? Any guesses on when it's going to come out? Any ideas for what the price is going to be? I guess it will cost $24.99. Between 25 and 30 bucks, and I think it'll come out in October. I'm just throwing that out there. Wild guess. What do you think? Comment down. My microphone. That's fun. Comment down below in the comments, and like and subscribe and follow and all the verbs. This is Matt Bradley-Tschirgi. Hope you like this look at a new Return to Monkey Island news about some of the art directors' inspirations for the games, and I will catch you next time. Be sure to hold on to your banana and watch out for any tailpipes out there, as Axel Foley would say of Beverly Hills Cop fame. Bye.